The next two fellas coming up on stage have some things to plug in, so they're getting that done while I'm talking to you very briefly. I'm going to lower that so I can see you. How about that? So we've got Ryan and Kyle Lutz up from Northern California. Please welcome them.
Thank you all for being here.
Between them, they have 5 years fishing experience and 1 year tendering experience, as if I remember what I just was told, which is doubtful. You can correct me. And they've been fishing Bristol Bay, Alaska. So they'll take a little bit of time to get set up, but please welcome Ryan and Kyle Lutz.
Thank you all for being here. Tough act to follow, but we'll do our best, I suppose. That was fantastic. Haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Thank you all for making it out. This is the first and only stop on our world tour, so I really appreciate it. All right. It's that calm upon the water as dawn lays down still and the sun comes up rolling, well, just rolling over the hill, rolling over the hill. First pull of the season when you stop and check your pride. Throw some back from where they came and wish upon a side. Wish upon a side. When the days blur together, all the nights are one. Time has lost all meaning, well, you know you're on the run. Know you're on the run. Hot soup, pull-throughs, new gloves, loose lines. When this is all you're wishing for, well, trouble's off your mind. Trouble's off your mind. Jokes told 1,000 times, you never get too old. Keep the crew laughing through the wind and storm and cold. The wind and storm and cold. The wind, storm and cold. The wind, storm and cold. The wind, storm and cold. Thank you all. This next one is first seasoning up in Bristol Bay. Being a deckhand was terrible. I always dreamed, one day have my own boat. But the stepping stone was a old small Rossin. It always helped get a Rossin one day, and this is kind of a song about that. Well, it's been 37 days of drifting since the boat's been full to the brim, and there ain't no way of telling of the sorry shape we're in. Pilot bread's gone soggy, flooding, kicked in the cabin door. Here we sit come hell or high water, wishing all on for more. Let it rain, let it pour, may the run come rushing in, till we're sunk to the scupper and can't tell scales from skin. 'Cause I got nothing in this world but to lean on an old Rossin, and I'm feeling that soon I'll be doing alright, my friend. Well, say the market's growing, Japan's hotter than the desert sands, and it won't be long before old red salmon stands in high demand. So we went on up to the bay, bought this beauty at an estate sale, told my wife it'd pay for itself amidst a similar string of tall tales. Let it rain, let it pour, may the run come rushing in, till we're sunk to the scupper lean on an old Ross end. And I'm feeling that soon I'll be doing alright, my friend. Take it. Playing captain will be a breeze. Told myself time and again, deckhand's getting old, time for an early retirement. First day out we ran aground, fluids leaking all over my friends. Half the night I'm praying the net won't go up the prop again. Let it rain, let it pour, may the run come rushing in, till we're sunk to the scupper and can't tell scales from skin. 'Cause I got nothing in this world but lean on an old Ross end. And I feel soon I'll be doing alright, my friend. Well, I've been there more than once, wished I was back there on that deck. Every time a diesel build comes calling, nearly have myself a heart attack. But at least them Reds keep running, no sign of stopping, that's for sure. One more set to break even lower, and then maybe half a dozen more. Let it rain, let it pour, may the run come rushing in, till we're sunk to the scupper and can't tell scales from skin. 'Cause I got nothing in this world but lean on an old Ross end. And I feel soon I'll be doing alright, my friend. I feel soon I'll be doing alright, my friend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. My name's Kyle. This is Ryan. We're brothers. We live down in California now, but we lived up in Oregon for a while, and we go fish in Alaska every summer. And
Yes,
we're looking forward to this weekend all year, every year. This is the 4th year we've been up here. So thank you all.
Thanks for being here.
Yep. This next story is by Ryan, and most of it's true.
Most of it.
94%. Yeah, maybe.
Captain had a plan for when he got tired of his crew. He'd send us out to the liquor store for a 30 rack of brew. Then back in the boatyard, he'd pop an Ambien and await our return, take the rack to the cabin and order us to the stern, where we'd chip and paint and scrub and wax until sure he was asleep, when we'd tiptoe to the cabin and see how many beers we could sneak. Sometimes, drunk and delirious, he'd leave a 20 on the table, our cue to stay out at the bar for as long as we were able. And it was a night such as this that the story begins, and like most quality tales, there are a few too many drinks between now and the end. Eddie and I, well, we headed out to the bar, but as these things go, we never made it that far. See, Eddie had stashed some beers under the front seat and wanted to go hang out by the creek. But as we came upon the pullout with the creek running below, neither of us had the sobriety to realize those pine trees were a little too close. And as Eddie tried to thread the needle, Captain's truck got stuck, doors pinned on both sides, some real awful luck. "We gotta drink the evidence," Eddie yelled, as he devoured beer after beer. "When Captain comes to kill us, I don't want those cans in here." So we did what any sensible person would do, and we shotgunned every last one of those brews, crushed the cans flat and stuffed them through the hole in the faux leather seats. Both thought we handled the situation real neat. And after about an hour, some locals came by and shook their heads. They pulled us out with a sigh. They assured us this had happened many times before, said to watch out for cops as we rolled back past the store. So we crawled back to the boatyard, praying Captain was still asleep, so we could climb into the forecastle and pretend this was all a dream. But as we climbed on board, their Captain tottered 3 sheets to the wind with that ambient liquor glow that leaves you looser than sin. "Boys," he slurred, "boys, tomorrow's the day when we run out to sea and make this thing pay. But the chiller needs some maintenance, boys, she's overdue. Gotta loosen up the old king valve. Hop to it, you two. So we climbed below deck, and we took a look around. Which one's the king valve? I muttered aloud. The big one. Captain snarled. Why do I ever ask for your help? Get out of my way. I'll do this myself. So we bumbled through the hatch and commenced wrenching on the valve, unleashing a string of profanity, followed by the sound of a low hissing release, high pressure escaping into air. That's what we want, boys. Gotta flush this thing once a year. Now we'll let her sit this way, let her clean out overnight before we head down river, put everything back together real tight. I don't have to remind you that tomorrow's gonna be one hell of a long day, so if you all know what's good for you, you'll stay the hell out of my way. 2 days later, we made it to Ugashik, the end of the earth, and for some strange reason, the RSW just wouldn't work. She seemed to run just fine, but the water wasn't getting cold, and after 3 days of conjecture and amateur maintenance, desperation took hold. Captain called the manufacturer and raised all kinds of hell. He had it up to here with the cut rate dry delivery price and fishy smell. I'm heading back to Naknek, and there better be an expert waiting when I return. You think I'm pissed now? Wait till my boot's halfway up your stern. So back to Naknek we went, and an expert from Anchorage met us on the dock. Couldn't wait to step on board so he'd be on the clock. He dreamed about jobs like this for quite some time, flush with overhead, travel expenses, rush delivery, the whole nine. Why this problem that no one could figure out would take at least a couple of days to get done, and between now and then, he stood to make quite a sum. He pictured white sand beaches and Mai Tais with little umbrellas, smoke-filled poker nights in Vegas with the fellas. But when he popped below deck to see what was the matter, he spied something right away that left his dreams in tatters. The damn king valve's been loosened, he managed to mumble. Any idiot could see that's your trouble. Now I'll fill her up with Freon and send you on your way, but you better believe before I go, I'm gonna get paid. So Captain coughed up a check, nearly kicked that mechanic out the door, his ears still red, as we headed to Ugashik once more. When he got within range, Captain started fielding questions over the radio. All the fellas in the group wanted to know the source of our RSW woe. A damn pinhole leak! Captain gritted his teeth and hissed. Took that college boy from Anchorage a whole day to figure out what was amiss. The fellas gave him their condolences, told him they were glad he's back, and after all that commotion, Captain decided he'd hit the rack. But before climbing below to take his rest, he fixed us both with a god-awful glare we'll never forget. Boys, I don't even mention what'll happen if word of this ever gets out. Let's just say it'll involve putting my foot somewhere I ain't gonna talk about. Captain Eddie started, if you just give us a minute more of your time, I'd like to let you know something's been on my mind. See, the night before we put out, when we had your truck, wouldn't you know it, we ran into some real awful luck. See, we were just staying out of trouble, sitting by the creek, when all of a sudden 2 bears come charging out the woods. I nearly fell out my seat. They started going at it, and we tried to move your truck a little, but wouldn't you know, we got caught right up in the middle. And as it happens, they banged up the doors a bit, just minor cosmetics, nothing that can't be fixed. Well, anyways, just thought I'd let you know, no point in get upset or nothing. These things, they come and go. Captain muttered, boys, I ain't gonna lie. That cover-up stinks worse than the laughing in your eyes. A pinhole leak, that's believable. Happens all the time. But 2 grizzlies humping my truck in broad daylight with you in it? I gotta say my bullshit meter is on high. If you're gonna stay in this business, you gotta do better than that. I'm not mad, just disappointed. Now try to keep it down while I'm taking my nap. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you all.